For the first time, AI has the potential to bend the curve and close the information gap. But this requires you to trust the results. Specifically, it requires you to trust the results from agentic AI. Now let's talk about this. Every agentic AI workflow can be comprised of both deterministic and non-deterministic elements. A deterministic approach follows a fixed path of predefined rules and logic. Given the same input, it produces the same output every time. Let's go through an example. Let's say you're a loan underwriter who's automating a credit policy. The person's income is greater than $80,000. Their debt-to-loan ratio or debt-to-income ratio is less than 35%, and their credit score is greater than 720. That loan is approved every time. Every applicant that has the same criteria is approved every time. Now let's compare that to a non-deterministic approach that follows an adaptive path using large language models, but it can produce different outcomes from the same input. It's sensitive to the context it is given. For example, think of a financial crimes team that is prioritizing anti-money laundering alerts with AI. The agent analyzes income and to include things like customer profiles, transaction descriptions, previous cases, and investigator notes. The large language model-based agent produces a recommended disposition and explanation. But because the large language model is probabilistic, with no fixed rules or logic, 3 different runs can produce 3 different outputs. It might recommend that it's a low-risk alert, or it might set it as a high-risk alert, or because of subtlety in the context, it might recommend we actually close the alert. There's not enough risk even to be concerned about. If the team is working on incorrectly prioritized alerts, the bank is exposed to increased risk. And to overcome this, you must add guardrails to ensure accuracy and prevent compound error at scale. Another part about agentic AI I want you to know about is how trust shifts. Determinism and non-determinism can be in agentic AIs, but the way they manifest in individual and enterprise use cases is different. And as a result, trust can't be scaled the same way. For individual use, the goal of agentic AI is typically like things like coding, research, analysis, and brainstorming. But when non-deterministic LLMs are present, the human must look for errors and really course correct as needed. That means, though, the trust ultimately sits with the individual. Now, when you move to the enterprise, agentic AI is all about breaking down data and organizational silos to automate business workflows. Therefore, trust shifts from the individual to the accuracy and repeatability of the process itself. However, because non-deterministic large language models are there, you must integrate into the agentic AI workflow guardrails to ensure accuracy and prevent compound error at scale. Now, to get more into the details of this, I want to illustrate how this is being done in AI-assisted software development. And this is exactly what SAS is doing right now inside our organization. We break this down into 4 phases: design, execute, verify, and validate. Let's start with the design phase. In the design phase, human value shifts from typically writing code to the new discipline of context engineering. This requires strong domain expertise to define the functional experience, the test objectives, and overall the technical requirements. Second, AI agents can develop test suites to automatically verify and validate. Now, let me kind of define these very important phases. First, verification confirms that the software meets the technical specifications of the design. And validation really makes sure that the software meets the business objectives of the organization. The verification and validation phases are absolutely critical for guardrails to ensure accuracy and to make sure we have repeatability of AI-generated code. Finally, the agent uses the context from the design specs and the testing suites to generate code, and the entire human-in-the-loop process iterates until the verification and validation phases pass. That's how it works, folks. But guess what? You can apply this same approach to industry use cases. And I want to start with an example in life sciences. Imagine a clinical trial for a new cancer therapy. Behind that trial is a protocol that defines really why the trial is being conducted, what will be tested, who can participate, and how will the study be conducted to ensure regulatory requirements are met. Everyone in the industry knows that AI provides a huge opportunity to improve the efficiency and accuracy of clinical trials. Let's apply this repeatable blueprint with AI. First, in the design phase, we leverage AI to read documents with protocols and operating procedures and data. AI agents then parse those documents, extract requirements, and map them to regulatory standards. Digitizing the protocol alone improves the ability to match the right patients with the right therapies. All of this results in better context engineering that drives the execution phase of the remaining things we have to work on. In the execution phase, raw clinical data is arriving into the organization, and there's a massive amount of this data, and it's being transformed into regulatory standards. Double programming analyzes the trial data to produce statistical results. This is achieved by combining human and AI programming that derives the same data with automated comparisons to find any discrepancies. The result is a faster and more consistent execution without compromising regulatory compliance. From there, agents work in parallel to check protocol adherence, CDISC compliance, data quality, and security. This verification testing is completed in hours versus weeks. Finally, AI compiles the clinical submission report and validates for accuracy and completeness. And the result is a clinical trial submission that runs in weeks rather than months. Now, imagine what could happen without the verification and validation phases. A protocol requirement is misinterpreted, or a submission looks complete, but regulators find some inconsistencies. The clinical trial comes to a halt. Data has to be reanalyzed, patients wait longer, costs increase, and trust erodes. In clinical trials, verification and validation aren't just technical details. They are the difference between getting a therapy to market or it being delayed when patients can't afford to wait. And I have to say that SAS is delivering these agentic AI outcomes today that help companies get life-saving drugs to market faster. But you might ask, what makes our approach with agentic AI unique? Well, for us, it comes down to intelligent decisioning on SAS Viya. It can automate any business problem on any cloud with unparalleled governance. You can carefully design sophisticated and directed, controlled agentic workflows. Those workflows then can deploy a set of intelligent agents. Some of those agents can orchestrate the entire workflow, and other agents are there to validate and verify answers. And the result are trusted business outcomes. With intelligent decisioning, we uniquely give you the right balance of control, creativity, and governance to build trusted agentic AI workflows.